Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Velero Community Meeting and Open Discussion. Today is July 7th, 2020, and per usual, we're going to start with a bunch of status updates and then go into the discussion topics. Let me see here. I'm going to share this. You should see my Google Chrome. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right, awesome. So first off, we have Nolan.
Yeah, sorry for my audio being a little different. Neighbors are banging on their house, so I had to move. So I was on community support last week, but I did not get to address all the GitHub issues, so apologize for that. Yesterday, I went through and was reviewing a lot of the GitHub PRs, but I did not get to all of them. I'm going to try to work through the remaining open ones. A few of them, such as the PR for updating to Kubernetes 1.18 dependencies. I know we will be kind of putting that behind some other PRs, but I will get to them. Also, I just want to let everybody know, I know in the last few weeks each time in this meeting I've been saying I've been working on internal build process work, but the end is in sight on that. Hopefully that will be done this week or next. One way or another, it will have to be done. So that is wrapping up. And then finally, thanks everybody for attending RestoreHook's deep dive meeting yesterday. Really appreciate that discussion. And I think that's it from me. At least nothing else that I can remember.
Do you have anything? So you're saying you have a how to review blitz yesterday, but you didn't get to them all. Is there anything in particular that you would like to have reviewed by someone else as well?
We definitely have that design doc for restore progress on volume snapshotters. I saw Carlisia had left some comments that I left an approval on. In my eyes, really, it just needs to consolidate on one approach, and then we can merge it and get to implementing. I didn't see Fish News on the call, but if I think we can merge that. We're pretty much set on it. It's just moving one of the proposed approaches into an alternative and then moving on. And then I reviewed Fong's proposal on doing some ordering of resources, which he was going to demo in the discussion topics. And then the rest is I'm trying to think here. There's a couple issues that we are probably going to do a 1.4.1 for. I know Ashish is going to do an update on his that we'll want to get that one out. And I think there may be a small rustic resource limit increase that I would like to put in the 1.4.1 fix as well. But there's no PR for that yet. That's just something in my head that I would want to fix.
All right. Any questions, comments for Nolan? Okay. Moving on to Carlisia.
All right. So hi. And I have that PR for adding the BSL controller. Ashish gave me some reviews and I addressed his comments. So it's ready for another review, and his reviews weren't even very complicated. So I think it seems like it's in pretty good shape. What else? So yeah, if anybody would like to review that, would be great. I mean, besides the core maintainers. So after I got that PR done, I started working on adding the same validation, but as webhooks for creating updates. And then as I was doing it, I realized it was going to be probably impossible because the backup storage location has an external dependency, which is the actual store, which we can only bring up an instance of that if the server with the plugins that relates to that store is running. At any rate, I had this conversation with Nolan and he agreed it's not worth attempting to do that. So, and the way the controller is working it's pretty sufficient for what we want to do, which is just keep validating. Working on PR reviews, I finished that backup restore progress design doc. I agreed with the previous reviews and just ask him to move the approach to an alternate to the alternatives section, which is not even a big deal, but unless Ashish also wants to do a review, I think it's ready to merge pretty much either as it is or after we wait for him to move to the stuff to the second approach to the alternative sections. Anyway, and besides PR reviews, I'm going to be doing the server status request controller conversion to controller runtime. That's it for me.
Awesome. Any questions, comments for Carlisia?
Oh, and also I think merging the BSL controller PR before merging the upgrade to 1.18 is a good idea. So he's willing to do a rebase and fix everything. So you'll be a good flow of work that way.
Yeah, I would say we get the BSL controller PR in, and then we do the 118 upgrade, just because the the upgrade to the Kubernetes 118 library touches a lot of code, just because they introduced a new argument to a lot of functions.
Yeah.
So if we can get the BSL controller PR done, and then we can move on to it before starting a new PR, we can go get the 118 one done.
Yep.
Sounds good. Again, any questions for Carlisia?
Yeah, it would be great if I could start the server status request PR branch or with that 1.18 PR merged. Maybe we can do it today. I mean, the 1.18, I reviewed it, it's good to go, except that he needs to rebase, so.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Carlisia. Moving on to Ashish.
So for me, last week I found a couple tracking down some of the issues we were seeing in some issues that were reported and some bugs that we saw when folks were trying to back up and restore cluster API things. I found an issue that we had that was a regression in 1.4 where we weren't backing up the CRDs in the right place or in the right in the expected place for restores to work. So I figured out what was causing the problem, and I have a PR out to fix that. I verified that this works against 116.9, 117, and 118.4. And as Nolan mentioned, we will be cutting a 1.4.1 release to include this fix. And all the other changes that have gone in from 1.4 or from the time we got 1.4. Other than that, I was working on some of the internal build setup stuff, which should be mostly done. Need a few finishing touches on that to call it complete and move on. Other than that, I also have a fix to change the permissions on the manifests that we include in the backup tarball. We currently, or we had those permissions or those manifests as executables, which they clearly are not. So I added I have a PR to change that permission. Apart from that, and did I mention I'm on community support this week? If not, I am. So that's all.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashish. That change for the file permissions, does that break anything at all?
No, that shouldn't break anything.
It looks like that. I went and looked at Git history, and that was a mistake that happened in 1.4. Basically, 1.4 accidentally made them all executable, and then this is just setting them back to what they were before.
Okay. Sounds good. Any other questions, comments for Ashish? All right, diving into the discussion topics.
One quick thing before we move on. I did read the Vishnu's proposal on like the volume snapshotter. I had a couple of comments. I think we can keep them as is and like merge the PR and keep them in mind when during implementation. I haven't published my review yet, but I will right after this. I was like almost done. So just an update on that.
Sounds good. Thank you. All right, moving on to the discussion topics. We've got a demo today with Fuang on resource ordering. Do you want to share your screen?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me. Okay. By the way, thank you, Nolan, for reviewing my design. I haven't updated my code according to your review. Yes, for example, you suggest using resource order instead of backup order. I will update that, but today I just demo whatever I currently have before your feedback. So excuse of the item that is still there. Well, in our setup, I have a namespace called MongoDB ham, and in this, you can see that I have a 3 stateful set, and I simplify the demo to make each stateful set only have one port, and you can see that the port primary 0 and port secondary 0, each of them have its own PVC, but I also have 2 additional PVC that I create just to demo the fact that we can ordering both ports and persistent volume if we want to. So I'm going to back up this namespace in two shots. The first backup will not specify the order. And then on the second one, on the second backup, I will run a backup with the order optional, and with the order specified, so we can see the difference between them. So I already typed all the command here, so so I don't have to type during the demo. So as you can see that this one is just a straightforward backup, Velero backup, right? It's backup create. And the name of backup, the PH backup, no order. And the namespace, including and so on and so forth. All parameters are there just as normal. Then I also run this get to show the status. So is already complete. And in my storage, I already mount my storage here, and you can see this is the directory where the backup was stored. So this one is a backup without any of the backup order at all. So I just show the log to show currently what is the backup order that it currently has. And you can, I'm just grab the logs for the backup, and you can see you can see that this is like a natural order. First, it back up the pod with the name Mongo RS arbiter, and then it back up the Mongo DB RS primary and its PVC and its secondary and so on and so forth. This is the natural whatever it's currently have, right? Without any. Now I'm gonna demo the backup that my option with my other option. This one is the one that I already typed up, so we don't waste time waiting for me to type. So this one is the new thing here, the backup order. And you can see this is it's just a string. And in this string, I specify, first of all, I want to specify the order of the pod that I need to back up. And in this pod, I want to back up the secondary first. Remember, in the first one, you can see that if I don't do that, then the adder will back up first, then the primary, then the secondary, right? In this case, I want to back up the secondary first, then and the primary. And I don't care about arbiter, so the arbiter will be like later. Then I also specify the order of the persistent volume. Okay? So in this case, I want the PVC2 will be back up first instead of PVC1. As right now, if I don't do that, if I don't specify it, you can see that the PVC2 will be back up later after PVC1. Let me see if I can find it or out of this one. I think it's, yeah, right here. You can see that right now, if I don't specify order, the PVC1 will be back up first, then PVC2 will be back up later, right? So now I'm gonna run this command, and let's wait to see when it's done. Okay, it's complete.
Okay.
Okay, so it's complete now. I'm gonna go to the tree with the. Okay, you can see now this one is, you can see that this is all the backup that has been done. You can see immediately the MongoDB secondary was backup first. And after the pod was, then you can see all the persistent volume claim belong to this pod, and it persistent volume belong to that pod being backup, all of them, one here. And then now you can see the secondary, the primary, right? The secondary will back up and then the primary. And then you can see that it's PVC and it's PV also back up here. And then because I don't specify arbiter in the order, so it will go after the one that inside the order that's specified. But now you also see that the PVC2 now will be back up first before PVC1 being back up. So that is the chain that caused this to back up in a specific order that I specify in this command right here. So you can, this is the only new chain that I have. And you can see that it can work for both pods and persistent volume. As a matter of fact, it should work for all of the resource. I haven't tested on. So that is it with my demo. Anyone have any question?
So I asked this on the review, but is the main use case here for stateful sets?
In my work at Dell EMC, we want to only order the pods, but I saw that other people seem to have a similar need for persistent volume, so I also put it there. Okay. Yeah, but in my primary work, we only need to specify the specific order for pod. That's it. Okay,
so but pods within a stateful set, or is it pods? Pods within a daemon set, or
it doesn't matter actually within the same namespace. But yes, in my case, it is inside the. It can belong to one stateful set, or it can belong to multiple stateful set. But the way I use it in my app consistent backup is that we first reprocess all of the pods and sequence and put them into a specific sequence, and then we take snapshot of them one by one. So that's why, from my point of view, it doesn't matter whether the pod belong to a stateful set or resource or daemon or whatever. I analyze them and put them in a specific order that I want.
I have a question about the ordering piece. And full disclosure, I haven't read your proposal yet. So send me to your proposal if you feel you have the answer in your proposal. So how does this order that we specify from the command line affect other resources that are included in the backup?
So it only affects the type of resource that is specified. If I don't specify here, it could behave as is. Whatever it currently is. I can show you the code also.
No, more specifically, will this ordering be done? So will you back up these resources first and then back up the other resources that have to be backed up? Or do you back up everything else and exclude this from that loop and then specifically pick these?
So what I do is that during the backup process, the current code will list out, it create a list of all the entity belong to a specific resource type. It creates a list of it. So my code chain is I only reorder them in the order that I want. That's it. Everything else is just, yeah. So for example, you can see that in my demo, I have 3 pods, right? But I only concern about 2 of them. The third one, the arbiter, I don't care. So as you can see in the demo, the secondary pod will be back up first, then the primary will be back up, and everything else that I don't care for would be just go with the whatever the order it comes. So I don't change that order. I only change the order of the pod that I concern, and I put them at the beginning of the list. The rest of the list, which is remain the same as it was in the current code. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, my code chain is very simple. It's about it's only about 10 code chain core on in the get around the function called gets all items. I can show you quickly the code if you like. It's just really simple. And then, of course, I have to change the CLI and so on and so forth, but it's very It's very straightforward, nothing fancy.
Cool.
Yeah, I can. I'm not sure if I have time to do that, but
So if you can if you can like put this up in like a work in progress PR and include it in your proposal, that would be super useful.
Yeah. So this is the code. That's it. It's just one function, right? It's very short and very simple. First, I put everything into a map. I put all the. Of course, I receive a list of items, right? An array of items that to be short, and the order that I want there. I put them all in a map. Then I go through the order. If I found the item, then I put the item in the result, the sorted item result, right? If I don't find, I think I should have, if I don't find the item, I should have gave a warning or something, but right now I don't. And then after I run through this loop, this means that I already pick up everything that inside this order string, right? Then I go back to the normal item that it goes with, right? Then I just, if the item already being picked, that you can see that after I pick up the item, I delete it from the map, right? So when I run the second loop, the loop that I look through all the original item, right? If it already there, if it is not in the map anymore, that means that I already pick it up earlier, then I ignore it. Then if it not, then I just put it into the final item. So this way, whatever the order in the original item will be reserved in the result in the sorted item, right? And this one will guarantee that it will be everything that inside this order list will be picked up first and put it in the specific order in the resorted item. Then everything else will be put it in later in the same order that it comes in the original item. So that this is one function call, and it's being called in one place at the very end of the function where here. So in this function right here, this is the function that to a specific group they call get resource item. And then at the end of it, I just need, after it collects them all, it will put inside a variable called items. And is it an array? Then I just, if there is the order specified for this type, then I just sort it. That's it. That's the code chain. So it's very low low channel regression because of that. I mean, it's just really
cool.
Simple. That's it.
Thank you.
Let me stop sharing. Any more questions? Okay.
And I also asked this on the review. Do you have, in your use case, do you have any need for cluster scoped resources on this?
No,
I noticed you.
In my use case, we back up one namespace at a time.
Okay.
So everything that we are talking about is only within one namespace. But I also, because you can see that when I specify the order, right? Each of the item, it comes with the namespace / item name, right? So I think it should work for across multiple namespace belong to one cluster. But to be honest, I haven't tested that situation. And because of my usage, I don't have a usage, but I think I will test it before I submit the code.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I think in most cases, cluster scope resources, you can back up by using like a namespace resource as a pointer. So as an example, you can use a persistent volume claim in a namespace to point to a persistent volume. But there may be cluster scoped custom resources that we're not thinking about. So I just want to raise that as a potential thing, as something to think about. I don't, maybe it's not valid, but I just wanted to ask.
It actually, it might work because in my implementation, what I do is I only search by the name, and the name that I have there is a combination of namespace / the item space. In the persistent volume case, for example, it doesn't have a namespace associated with it, so it's just the name of the persistent volume itself. Then
right. So if
all
you
I
leave
need to
that
do is
off,
just
yeah. So if you would just leave off the namespace / part, would it work? So
don't know yet. I had to test.
yeah, that we would have to test.
The design itself, I think it should work because the all I need to do is just do a pair. Compare strings.
Yeah.
And I also right now my implementation right now is the exact matching. I have to specify the exact name of the resource. But I was thinking of maybe in the future I would able to implement like a regular expression there. So for example, instead of specify the primary port primary 0, port primary 1, and so on and so forth, I just say let's collect all of the primary port first, for example. Right? So I just have to do primary dash star or something like that, and it would match. But I haven't have a chance to dig into that one yet. But this one is the algorithm itself is extensible to implement such case like that.
Cool.
That's it.
Any other questions, comments for Phuong? All right, thank you so much. Moving on, Nolan. Let me share the screen again so everyone can see here. There we go. All right. So Nolan, you want to talk about the name change of the master branch?
Yeah, and okay, I did include the PR in that. I wasn't sure. So this is a heads up. The master branch is going to be changing to main. I don't have an exact timeline on this. Kind of working through some docs tooling and site redirection on this right now. The one issue with this right now is a lot of our docs are keyed off of the master string. So if you would go to docs/master/CSI, for example, that takes you to documentation on our CSI. We would like to get some redirection in on that. So I need to work with Jonas and Abby on how we can set up rules for redirecting from master to main on there. The other issue that's going to come up is that any open PRs that are against master will likely not work. I don't know the exact failure mode, but I know that GitHub has not yet implemented a PR redirection or a branch redirection feature. So we'll have to get them reopened against main instead of master. So we're kind of working through these issues, and the PR as is, I think I have it in draft mode because I did a sed that breaks some external links in there as well. And I'm also going to have to go and edit some other files that have been merged since. So wanted to let folks know this is coming. Generally, we like to have discussion on some changes, or most of our changes, but this one's not really negotiable. So just giving a heads up. I do realize we've announced a lot of code changes in churn, so I want to be sensitive to that. but we're working through this. And yeah, I'm seeing Abby mentioned that Netfly may be able to help us with some of our redirects. So yeah, just want to let people know, we may have to reach out to you if you open a PR. We may have to reach out to you and work with you to say, hey, we're now flipping the switch to say master has been renamed to main, and we may have to close out your PR and open against main until such time that GitHub brings out some feature to redirect it. But I'm guessing they're not going to have such a feature ready anytime soon. So just wanted to give that heads up. And Jonas, while you're here, this isn't in the discussion topics, but I guess since we're on the topic of changes and stuff, can you go up to the top and pull up the issues tab? I just wanted to highlight the Velero public API. I just wanted to get, it's on the pinned issues up at the top. Just wanted to highlight again, please take a look at this list, this issue 2654. Please take a look at this list and let us know if there's something not in this list that you depend on. Please comment on this issue and let us know so that we don't move it into an internal and break you. But if we don't know that you're using it, there's a good chance we're going to move it into the internal package. So yeah, just again, reiterating, we've got code changes, code organization changes happening. So I want to give people plenty of notice.
On the branch rename change that we proposed, I wanted to make a suggestion that we do that as a patch release, not a main release. That way, if folks want to upgrade, this may break like users installation workflow. And for example, brew install may stop working. So considering that, we might want to be mindful of users installation workflows and like make that rename as part of our patch release instead of like 1.5, say.
So I did double check brew because I know there's some folks that have complained about brew. Our brew install is actually installing a source tarball from a
Release?
from a semantic version to release, not from master. It's not pointed at a master branch, it's pointed at a tagged release.
Okay.
So I think some, especially this definitely would have been a problem with Go tooling before Go modules, because a lot of Go tooling was pointed directly at master for a long time. But with how we're handling the brew release right now, it is less of an issue because it's pointed directly at a GitHub. More specifically, it's a GitHub tarball of the tagged 1.4 release right now. So it basically Homebrew grabs the tarball of the 1.4 tagged release, downloads it, compiles it on their stuff, and then does a signing of that. And I think the recently donated chocolatey install procedure does very similar. Although I think that one just grabs the binary from a tagged release. But I think that's a good point that we should look at that. I was not thinking of syncing this to a release. I was thinking of doing this kind of out of band. But do let me know if that's, just to be transparent with my thought process, I was thinking of doing this separate from the 1.5 release, that we were going to do this once we make sure the docs were working in a draft PR or whatever in the Netlify preview, then we would go rename the branch, make sure the links in the Netlify preview are working. I might have to update my PR to merge it, and then do the rename and fix up any open PRs.
Yeah, the other thing we might be, I don't know how we plan to do this, but we can create another branch called main and just merge our existing master to main and then deprecate master.
That's a good point. We don't have to do a straight up rename. We could just cut main off of master, flip it over.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good point.
And we don't also have to close folks' PR and have them reopen. For a period, we will be accepting PRs to both master and main, and then start kind of closing master for incoming PRs after a certain point.
Okay, yeah, I actually like that suggestion. That we don't simply rename it, and that way we can. I think we do have to. We're probably not going to keep master around for a long time, so we have them both for some time period, like
a few weeks maybe.
Right. We say this set time period we'll keep both.
Yep.
But then after that, if you're not updating your PRs, if we don't get any update on this PR, it'll get closed, and you're welcome to reopen it against main. But I like that suggestion.
Any other questions, comments here? All right. Carlisia, for the issue you open here around the public API changes, can you make a post to the mailing list as well, just so people on the mailing list are aware that that is important?
Yeah, I'll do.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you, Abby, for pinging me on that. Let's see. Next up, we have Vishnu.
Yeah, thanks, Jonas. Yeah, I saw the review comments, and I will do it accordingly by making the approach 2 as the alternate approach in the PR. And I just want to say that in that I will be probably adding the pods information also in the status part, that very similar to pod volume backup, just to get the information about what pod and the PVC UAD it is the backup is for.
It seems that Ashish also has some additional comments that he hasn't added yet.
Yeah, I don't know if you were on the call during Ashish's update, Vishnu, but I think Ashish has a review that he hasn't submitted yet.
Sure. No.
I am almost done. I will give you like a major update. Or the only major thing that I have in my review is like moving the creation of the CRs into the plugins itself and not have Velero create it. That way we can like minimize the changes in core Velero, and also not create these CRs for volume snapshotters that don't support this. So that was the only major thing. Other than that, there were a few other minor comments that we can, I'm okay merging it even if they are not addressed.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Right, Ashish. I think that is actually the second approach. The second approach talks about, apart from the major changes, other than that, it's about like removing the old existing the the structure. It's about talking why we when the plugin is the one who creates the CRs.
Okay. Oh, then I probably read the wrong thing. Never mind then. I will go back and make sure I read the right thing.
Sure. And I will sync up on the Velero, the channel also, no issues.
Sure.
Discuss about that. Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to try to get this done before our meeting this morning, so I quickly opened it up and started reading. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to what I was reading.
No problem. Yeah, sure. Thanks for all the reviews. We'll sync up on the call channel.
Awesome. Thank you, Vishnu. Anything else anyone wants to add to the discussion topics for today? All right, then we have the contributor shoutouts left. Nolan?
Yeah. So we got a PR from Daniel Thrasher, who updated the help message on our schedule command to fix the day of the week values. It's not actually 0 to 7, it's 0 to 6. Duffy Cooley, also known as Maui Lion, updated our builder image handling in our makefile. Anybody who's developed on Velero may have noticed that when you run make, the builder image just constantly, got rebuilt, which led to long runtimes. And Duffy finally fixed that, and that is super, super nice. And I think he worked with a team of some Kubernetes architects here at VMware, and then Tony Batard and the team of Kubernetes architects worked on getting some Go linters. I forget the project, the whole suite's name, but he got these linters added to not only, Golang lint CI or Golang CI-lint. Got that added into the repo, but also added to our CI, which is super nice. So huge thanks to Tony. I think Mike Tridabaugh was involved, and Duffy as well. So if you contribute, contribute a PR, you may see the linter yelling. And if this applies to everyone, if you see some linting rules that are kind of onerous and you think may change, we have this Golang CI.yaml, which we kind of just accepted the defaults right now. But these are definitely the place to debate the code standards and code formatting things, in my opinion, is not individual PRs, but NPR on the Golang CI.yaml file. Just my opinion. So yeah, thank you very much to those contributors. Thank you to everyone who's attended the Restore Hooks meeting yesterday. That was very, very, very useful. As a very quick summary there, we're going to basically try to merge the two approaches that we've discussed, putting init containers and in place restore hooks to kind of meet both use cases. And also everybody who's submitted PRs and has had patience with the team, your patience is very much appreciated. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Some fantastic stuff that has come in here. So thank you everyone who's contributing to the project. And with that, we're going to close out the meeting for today. Thank you all for joining. Have a fantastic rest of the week and see you all next week. Have a good one.
Everybody.
Thank you.